I'm so bummed out right now. I just thought I was recording for like 5 minutes and I was not. I'm on my way to my studio, walking up my usual path of the alley. And so I guess I have to start over again. Hi guys, there's a truck. You probably know me already if you're watching this because I am not a viral sensation on YouTube, and if you don't, my name is Elliot, which is also apparent from the name of my YouTube channel, which actually, if anyone has can tell me how to change the name of my channel without it also changing my name on my email account, which like I was sending emails with a weird name that was the title of my YouTube channel. Yeah, if you know about how to do that, could you comment below and help me out? Because okay, crossing the street. Had to go into the debt. I'm still finding it so difficult to be out in the world talking to myself. So I always just stop whenever I see anyone. And that guy has somewhere to go. Okay, so why am I doing this? I am Elliot. I'm a grad student. It's weird to identify myself as a grad student. But it is an accurate description. I am trying to graduate, trying to finish my master's degree, and typically I make performances. Typically those performances would have a live audience, but as you are aware, having a live audience is not possible. I had to come up with a different solution. Oh, I just want to show you this. I don't know what that is. I think it's an apple. So I landed on vlogging, and I watched a lot of vlogs, and something I noticed about vloggers when they're walking around their towns, their selfie sticks, talking about things, they really feel connected to their audiences, and I just want to feel that too with you, but right now I kind of don't know who I'm talking to. So much action in the alley today. Oh fuck. Okay, what am I trying to tell you? This is my thesis project. I'm going to post a series of videos. I'm posting them daily because I want to have the sense of like being together in time, even if, you know, I can't be together with you, dear audience, in space. The goldenrod is out. This I thought was yarrow until I looked closer and it's Kanien'kéha lace. Oh, and look here, the little sculpture of the cherry pie is still here. There's also a bunch of pansy around here. It's plantain. I don't know what that is. If anyone knows what that is, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. This is my favorite part of the walk. Oh, but I don't know. Probably should go around today. Damn it. I don't want to get a ticket for being on the tracks, but don't want to get a ticket. Ugh, I'm just being derailed today. It's really hard to reorient myself to what the fuck I'm trying to say right now after I just rambled for so long, and then classic stupid mistakes. I don't know. Anyway, seemed risky, so I'm going the legal way, which is under this overpass. So what was I saying? I'm a grad student. I'm making my thesis work. I'm in Montreal, which is also known as Tiohtià. I grew up in what is colonially known as what is colonially known as Southeast Alaska, in a town called Juneau. It's the traditional lands of the Akwán people, who are a Tlingit clan. And relatively recently I discovered that, because I was asking my mom, why don't I know any of the Tlingit names for like the places around where I grew up? My mom told me that in Tlingit culture, names of places are secret, because if you know the name of a place, then you have some claim to it. So I never learned any of them. But I also didn't know about that fact until a couple years ago. Oh, we're coming up on I'm gonna show you. Well, I managed to get all the way to the studio and say pretty much nothing, so I guess I'll see you on my lunch break. Bye! Hi. I'm sitting in my spot that I like to sit out behind my studio, and maybe you recognize that plant, but maybe you also recognize that something is missing. And guys, I'm devastated. They took my sculpture. You can see where it was. See? It was so heavy it left a mark in the ground. I was gonna do a dance with the sculpture. Now that's not there. God, what is today? It's like, today is the day I chose to make my first video, and nothing is going my way. Also, I was listening to the recordings that I made on the way here, and they're so loud, which is just gonna be how it is, I guess. Maybe I can fix it in post. Fuck. So much quieter now. Construction workers have gone home for the day. There's still 2 guys down there doing stuff that looks very important. I've already said this like 5 times, but who knows if I'm going to leave that in or edit it out. Repetition in video is so much different than repetition like in real life. I'm making this video series. This is the first video of the series. The series has a title, which is What is an Agreement? Take a Million. I usually make performances, and I was just sitting here making a list about what I like better about performances than making videos, which I didn't expect when I decided to do this project, because as I mentioned earlier, like, the pandemic happened. I was supposed to do my defense at the end of May, but that obviously couldn't happen because you can't be in a room with... Okay. And so I took months just kind of, well, at first I was just like panicking, trying to figure out how I could make the things happen that I like about performing with a live audience without a live audience and without being able to be together in a room. And I thought about making a performance outside at a distance, and I thought about doing audio tours that you could follow around. And then I was like, but what am I gonna do with all of the weird objects that I make that are in my studio that I'm just like dinking around on always? Typically what happens is I make a bunch of objects and eventually they kind of cluster into some vague kind of narrative, and then I perform with them, and then they get to have, each one gets to have their own little moment. But my objects are really about me handling them and showing them to you. You know, I came out here and it's so quiet, and now a cement truck has arrived. Maybe it's a propane truck or a fuel truck of some kind. Anyway, a loud truck. Well, I'm just gonna keep going because, like, who knows when it's ever gonna be quiet. I was telling my friend Sarah, actually not that long ago, like a few weeks ago, I went to her house, I plopped down in her Papa Sun chair, and I was like freaking out because I didn't know what to do. And Sarah is an expert on internet culture and YouTube, and I don't know if she would think it's absurd that I call her, but you know, she really knows her stuff. And after I talked at her for about 45 minutes, she was like, oh, it sounds like you're talking about vlogging. So I started watching a lot of vlogs, and I decided that's what I needed to do, because this way I can chat at you in an informal kind of way, and then I can show you the things I made, and then and I like the idea of doing it on YouTube because, like, this is such a weird platform and it has such particular social dynamics, and that's what I was really missing about the idea of live performance. Even though YouTube is really different in a lot of ways, it has a similar, like, it has similar codes of conduct. Anyway, I was just sitting here making a list of things I like better about performance than video. Number one, once you start a performance, like, it just happens. So, like, once you start, then you're going, and then eventually it's over, but, like, everything happens all at once, and you don't go back and edit anything. That means more mistakes could possibly happen, but also, like, things are read and framed as being more deliberate. Whereas, like, this video thing, like, I'm gonna go back and edit all these little pieces, and I'm gonna put them together in an order, and, like, hopefully I'm gonna, like, try to make it make sense in a certain kind of way. You know, there's, like, all these conventions in video making, but especially, like, in YouTube, or particularly rather, like, in YouTube video making, that, like, even if I'm not doing it deliberately, they're just, like, in my brain somewhere, and they're gonna come out in the video. So editing is a thing that I don't like about videos. Not because I don't like editing, I actually really like editing video, but, like, in terms of the kind of content that I'm making, which also, like, I never think about my performances as making content. That's definitely a term that's used in the world of YouTube productions, more than performance art. Performance art. The thing that's unusual, it's different for me, is working with inside the frame, because, like, the kinds of compositions I make and, like, kinds of scores I make are so not oriented around a two-dimensional plane. I knew it would be different, but I didn't realize the ways in which it would be different, and I thought that I could sort of adapt what I usually do to this medium, but I'm not sure if I can. It's too late, I'm doing it anyway. Also, like, I think that, like, when I get in front of people and I'm doing performance, like, there's this sort of self-preservation mechanism that kicks in, and, like, my sense of self-consciousness just kind of is suppressed. Like, maybe in retrospect I feel awkward, but I'm not scrutinizing myself in the moment, whereas now I'm literally looking at my face in the camera. So it's kind of impossible not to scrutinize. And I'm like, oh, do I look hot? But also just, like, being aware that, like, I didn't bring my selfie stick, so I'm having to hold my phone and the frame is jiggling around. It's just, like, this layer of self-consciousness that is very unusual for me. So the other thing I was writing on the list is, like, does it make sense to ramble on to you about, like, all of these things that I'm feeling unsure and self-conscious about it? And, like, does it come off as, like, defensive, or, like, I'm making excuses? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a rhetorical question or if it's just a regular question that you could possibly answer. But if you feel like answering, you know, comment down below. I'll read all the comments. Oh, God. I made the mistake of writing my notes on my notes app, so I have to, like, close the video app every time I want to look at the notes. Really smells like piss out here. I guess, like, the other thing I was thinking about is, like, when I invite you to a performance and you come to see it, you've come to see my performance, like, that's what you're there to look at. So I don't have to compete for your attention. And maybe you've, like, come to my channel to look at this video in particular because you're in charge of saying whether or not I get to graduate from graduate school, or you're my friend. It's still, there's this sense of, like, there's millions of other things to look at on YouTube, and, like, probably there's, like, ads in the corner, and, like, there's a list of videos that is, like, you could watch after this one. And it's not so much the competing for your attention, but, like, just, like, in the sense of, like, how do I get it, but more in the sense of, like, what does it feel like to listen to me talk to you when, like, within this kind of context. There's a person on a bike. I'm just gonna wait. Actually, I was just thinking about, as I was walking out of the studio, that I ran into my friend the other day, and she was telling me about how in this area it used to be, like, textile manufacturing, and that there was, like, a big textile workers strike that I didn't know anything about, like, probably in the early 20th century. Anyway, I'm excited to look into that. It's raining. Why? What's with today? The studio building that I'm in, on the ground floor, there's a space that was empty for a long time, that had a sign that said Colonial Jute Factory, so that tracks with the textile workers thing. But now it's, like, artist studios and like, record labels in there. And then there's that building that's getting built next door, and there's another new building in the neighborhood, and then, like, they added a new road because the University of Montreal just built a whole new wing of their campus there. So I mean, it's already changed a lot. I don't know. Gentrification, man. But I'm excited, and I will report back about that. The textile workers. I guess when I was doing the test, I was like, really felt like I was playing around, and now I'm like doing the thing. And like, it's so different from what I usually do. And you're not here, and I just missed you. Feels so trivial to be sad about some anonymous but specific people not being around while I'm talking myself into a camera. I will look at my notes this time. I wrote them on paper. I do really like walking home in this alley at night. I love looking at the apartments I'm going to show you. I was also thinking about when I was in my mid-20s, I was doing a lot of internet dating for the first time. Those kids were being very hammy. I was doing internet dating for the first time, and because I like just felt really awkward and shy and like hadn't really dated previously, I like to tell people like lists of things, you know, like lists of books stacked up next to my bed, or lists of whatever, like vegetables that I had in my fridge. And one time I told someone a list of the albums that I had on my iTunes, like just things that felt random but also like banal, because, you know, why not talk about the banalities of everyday life when you're trying to see if you want to date someone. But this person was like, was like so disdainful and was like, there's nothing weird about that. Like, what you're telling me is so unremarkable. And that was like 10 years ago, and like I'm still kind of offended by it. So I don't know. I think that people are always looking for like interesting things to tell each other in those kinds of contexts, like interesting facts about you that make you special. And I was kind of interested in like maybe the more mundane things. Because those kinds of online spaces are so performative. I guess when I was thinking about making my thesis, I really was invested in making something that people could really love, but this is so weird, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna show you this alley. The light is kind of getting really bad. There are all these cool floodlights in the alley. So I think that's it for tonight. But again, comment if you can remember the questions that I had and you have answers, put them down below. And like, as in thumbs up, or if you feel so moved, thumbs down. you know, this is just a test of my ego and I have to be here for it. And subscribe if you would like to see future content that may or may not be similar to this. Okay, bye.